Hey guys, Noel here, and it is Thursday night. And while we have a little bit of time on our hands, so that'd be fun to have a hot beverage in our PlayStation mug and do a live stream for the Noel ComiX YouTube channel. Now, tonight's live stream, we might play things beyond what I'm going to talk about, but we're definitely going to focus on what I'm going to talk about. And what am I talking about? We're going to be playing a lot of the PlayStation Mini. Now, you may be telling yourself, Noel, the PlayStation Mini wasn't very good. It had a lot of European ROMs that played at a lower frame rate than we in the United States or in Japan are accustomed to. The selection of games was mediocre. I mean, yes, some classics in there, but they were kind of poorly emulated. What's the big deal about the PlayStation Mini? Well, I'll tell you about the PlayStation Mini. When it comes to its potential, Sony did not unlock it. It took various people in the fan community to unlock the potential of the PlayStation Mini. People like one of the newcomers to the channel, Retro Zoltan Speaks. Good stuff. So, my friend, the Zoltan, helped me unlock the hidden potential of my PlayStation Mini. Diego, what's going on, man? Diego, you are in for a treat tonight. We are going to play a crapload of obscure Japanese games on the PlayStation Mini. So, my friend, Retro Zoltan Speaks, he's new to the channel. He actually showed up on the last live stream. He provides services of unlocking the hidden potential of the PlayStation Mini. I gave him a list of obscure Japanese PlayStation games, and he spared no expense. Actually, wasn't a lot of expense. I don't know, just his time, to construct a fantastic USB device to put into my PlayStation Mini. And we're going to play some obscure stuff. So, without further ado, let's grab our PlayStation mug here. Have another hot beverage. Actually, it's funny, because I have Arrow. You are in for a treat, my friend. So, this evening, and Dakota. So, Arrow, don't worry about it, man. It's fine that you couldn't get to the last live stream. Dakota, I have some bad news, but I also have some good news. The bad news is that Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate did not come in the mail, but I'll tell you what did come in the mail. This nifty USB device for the PlayStation Mini. Now, what's the big deal about a USB device? Well, it can unlock the hidden potential of the PlayStation Mini by filling it with obscure Japanese video games that fit my taste. And that's what we're going to be playing a lot of tonight. We're going to be playing lots. I will live stream when it comes, okay? I will tell you that, alright? I'm definitely expecting a handful of games tomorrow, like Goemon for the Nintendo 64, Battle Golfer Yui for the Sega Mega Drive, in English, and I think Nights into Dreams Japanese version for the Sega Saturn might be coming in the mail tomorrow. So, yes, is it the one? Yes, it is the one that has the ROMs of my choice on it. Arrow, yes. So, the guy who made it, his store is called Retro Zoltan Speaks. I can't remember his actual name. Starts with a J. Super cool guy. Made a friend. Tracking down some obscure PlayStation titles. We're going to play those tonight. In the background, we have Variable Geo 2 on. And we played the first Variable Geo on the Super Famicom. We're going to be playing the second Variable Geo. Actually, this is Variable Geo 2. So this is the sequel to that game, but it's not actually the game directly after that game, if that makes sense. We're going to be playing that first, and then we have lots of good games. Almost all of these ROMs work. There's only two that sadly are not seeming to work, and I actually talked to him about it, and I am not giving him negative feedback. I already gave him 5 stars, and he said that as soon as he figures out how to get those ROMs to work, he will send me a new USB drive. So he's good people. I'm not going to give him a negative review. Sadly, those 2 ROMs are Street Fighter Real Battle on film for the Sony PlayStation and Street Fighter the Interactive Movie, which is kind of a full motion video version of thank you. I am loving this mini console now as well. It was pretty mediocre to begin with, but now it's awesome. And the other cool thing about this mod is that the graphics are also improved on it as well. So you guys are in for a treat. Well, enough of my rambling. Let's get down to some gameplay right here as we play Advanced VG2. Now, I have my hand in front of the screen. So, cool thing about this is I am playing this on HDMI to VGA on a gateway monitor, and it looks darn good. Really maximizes the graphics here. I'm going to try to position our camera in a maximum angle here. There we go. So, let's enjoy this very cool full motion video opening. This is actually the first time I've played this game. We are not going to play Sexy Rock Scissor Paper because I'm a professional and I do not want to get in any kind of trouble for that. But I have acquired that game, and it is what it is. So 20 games was originally set. Yes, Nick, thank you and welcome. Nick, I'm telling you right now, man, I spent $40 on this USB drive, and I got whatever game my thoughts could imagine, whatever came to my mind. So lots of obscure Japanese games that fit my taste here. And thus far, like I said, only 2 games don't work, and the seller told me as soon as he figures out how to get them to work, if he can get them to work, he will send me a replacement USB drive, and I can send the existing one back. So super, super cool guy. I gave him 5 stars. He showed up on the live stream last time. So I told him to show up tonight because I was going to be reviewing the USB. His store is Retro Zoltan Speaks on Etsy. Let's check out our options here for the purposes of this live stream. We'll just put this down to easy. Nice artwork here, reminiscent of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Normal mode, story mode. I'm guessing normal mode is just our standard arcade mode. So we've got the whole VG crew here. Let's choose Yuka. Oh, negative feedback for DOA 2. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like I said, it honestly said between today and the 22nd. But it's pretty close to New York State, so I was thinking it was going to be more on the earlier date than the later date. Game plays very, very smoothly. Actually, I think this game plays better than the Super Famicom version, and that played well. KO. Well done. Now, we do have some RPGs on here as well. We have Tales of Destiny, we have Vandal Hearts, and we have Suikoden. We also have Biohazard, the Japanese version of Resident Evil, because I love the opening to that game in Japanese. Very cool song, which I actually feature on my YouTube channel. Chris Redfield, I got a shotgun. And so on and so forth. It's fantastic. This plays exactly like Street Fighter, but with pretty waitress girls. KO. All right. And credit to this guy for, like, literally mining Japanese ROMs for me. You know, like, you know, you figure it's like someone's gonna request a PlayStation Mini. They're just gonna come up with, like, oh, can you give me Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2? No. I was like, can I get a Dodon Pachi and Variable Geo 2 and Rival Schools 2 and yeah, you'll see. I have the Japanese version of Mortal Kombat 2 on here. Which is gonna, I think, pretty much just be the American version with green blood, so. How much was this service? 40 bucks for... No, I'm sorry, that's not right. 50 for 40, I believe. So I had 40 games, and you never heard of this game because it started out as a hentai game, and then was so popular it got sanitized for general audiences. So, there. I am not recommending you watch anything appropriate if you aren't already. I am neither confirming or denying anything about that genre. I'm just saying that this game has its roots in that genre and was turned into a mainstream fighting game and also a OVA as well. That is, there is, I think, a mainstream OVA of this as well. Yeah, Retro Zoltan speaks. I showed his card at the start of this, and he might show up to the stream again. I think his name's... I think he was in the stream last time as Joseph, or something like that. I'd have to go look at the stream, but yeah, this game's freaking great. Yeah, dude, like, I mean, I was really underwhelmed with my PlayStation Mini, and then, you know, I'd always heard that if you get it modded, you can make it insane. And the thing about this as well is, like, I just put PlayStation games on here because I just had a PlayStation Mini. I wanted to play PlayStation games, but actually, he was telling me the PlayStation Mini is very capable of playing things that are not PlayStation games from, you know, like PC Engine. He said he can even play Nintendo 64 ROMs. I mean, I'm really into more the authentic experience as much as possible, so I wanted to put PlayStation games on it. But you know, if I do get another kind of update from him, if he can get Real Battle on Film to work and the Street Fighter Interactive movie to work, I would, you know, I'd probably tell him to throw on some PC Engine games as well. Because I actually have TurboGrafx CD games. Actually, they have the CDs, and I have no way to play them. So, I think what I'm going to do is, once I get... how did you get this game? I need to add all-female anime collection. So I found Variable Geo on a website called Buy Right Games, which is now defunct because they were fairly dishonest with their customers. I mean, you had to really know how to work with the company to get your games, and I did. I figured it out. You basically have to call them and pay with a credit card. And you have to basically just keep asking, do you have this game, do you have this game, do you have this game? Because they would just list every single game on their website, and they might have only had about like 40% of them at best. So what I would do is I'd get them on there, and I would just go through their catalog and say, do you have this game, do you have this game, do you have this game? And they'd say, no, 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 yes. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that one then. And one of the games that I thought looked really cool was Variable Geo for the Super Famicom. And then from there I just kind of like looked into more Variable Geo games. And this was one of them. And I actually remember taping the opening to this game at my friend's house when I would tape YouTube videos onto VHS tape. And yes, that's how I found out about the series. And so when I found out that you could get ROMs of your choosing on a PlayStation Mini, I... you know, put this one on there, and because it would be nice to play in, you know, in your PlayStation Mini, and here it is, playing perfectly. I mean, I gotta tell you though, like the Super Famicom one was good. This is better. This is like Street Fighter level fluidity to the moves here. I will look for Melty Blood. Absolutely. I'm a little low on funds. I have enough funds, I think, to cover dinner tomorrow. It's my turn to buy. My son is getting a haircut, which I have to pay for. And, you know, I don't know. We'll just see. We'll see what my finances are looking like. I really want to get Dragon Quest XI on the Switch, the definitive version, because there is a 16-bit version of Dragon Quest XI on that. So, I'm really wanting to get that, and that's, I think, on sale right now for $41, and it's going to be really tight, and I'm going to wait till, I'm probably going to wait till my next paycheck to get that. Plus, now that stuff is starting to open up more after quarantine, I'm doing more shopping with my son. So we're going to the corner drugstore more and the bakery, and you know, we have our masks on and stuff, but I mean, that's like spending that I wasn't doing before. Tell me your experiences with Dragon Quest XI. I have the game. I have not actually played. I'm super happy school's done. I might be able to do a cartwheel, but I choose not to. I still have my grades that I gotta submit, though. And I actually want to do another video for my kids going over the end of the Civil War. Because if I don't, they probably are going to think Abraham Lincoln is still alive. But anyway, that's not a knock on them. So I got to do like another YouTube video for the kids and get my grades completed. I have one assignment left to grade, and then I got to submit everything. And then I am completely free to relax over the summer. I'm going to draw some manga, play some video games, and hang out with my adorable son, and box as much as possible. And then when it's time for jiu-jitsu to open up, assuming it's safe, I'd like to get back into that. I have not really played much of any Dragon Quest XI. I have it on the PlayStation 4. I played through about the first 20 minutes of it, loved it, and then haven't had a chance to play it since. And actually, that's not quite correct. I have had a chance to play it since. But because RPGs, particularly Dragon Quest RPGs, are very time-consuming, I've just ended up not playing it or dabbling in other RPGs. And so I was on the Switch store and saw that there was a 16-bit version of that included in the definitive edition of it. So I really want to get that, because as much as I like how the new graphics look, I prefer how the 16-bit RPG graphics look. So I'm super excited. Dragon Quest VI is back up to 60. Is it on... So wait, they have Dragon Quest VI on the Switch store? If that's correct, I'm also interested in that. I've got Dragon Quest VI on my 3DS. I actually like Dragon Quest VI because the main character looks like Mystic Gohan, and he is my favorite Dragon Ball character. They did some interesting. I will check it out. It's the definitive edition of Dragon Quest VI. Interesting. I have Dragon Quest III on my Switch, and I've dabbled a bit in that, and it's great. I've beaten Dragon Quest 1, 4, 5, and 7. Dragon Quest 4 is so good, and Dragon Quest 5 is great as well. So 4 and 5 are my favorite Dragon Quests that I've played. I've heard Dragon Quest 3 caused a lot of social problems in Japan with people skipping work and stuff, so I really want to just play that game. It's like, I want to play the game that broke Japan for a brief period in the late 80s. How many Dragon Quests are there? 11. Dragon Quest is the most popular game in Japan. In the United States, Final Fantasy was more popular because of Final Fantasy VII, mostly. Final Fantasy VII, I think, has more edgy stories that you might want to say. More stories that are maybe less charming, but more cerebral. And the graphics are more CG photorealistic, whereas Dragon Quest is done by Akira Toriyama. So it is a very it's my favorite anime style. Maybe seconded. Well, I'm really into Hirohiko Araki's anime style now, but Toriyama's my idol. So, yeah. So anyway, Dragon Quest has got a very specific style to it. Warm, charming fantasy role playing with an emphasis on role playing, whereas Final Fantasy is more cinematic. It's more like you're watching a movie, and there is a role playing dimension to it, but it's more, I think, story driven. Not to say that Dragon Quest don't have great stories, because they do, but when you play a game like Final Fantasy VII, it's like you're watching a major motion picture. When you're playing a game like Dragon Quest, it's like it's more of an intimate, strictly role-playing experience, which is great. They both have their own merits, But Dragon Quest is more popular in Japan. Have you played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time? No, not in any serious manner. I know that it's in the Arcade 1-Up cabinets, and I seriously looked at it. I played the prequel to that game, and I keep hearing how awesome Turtles in Time is. So I've played the normal Ninja Turtles arcade game, but I have not played Turtles in Time. Not normals, that's not the right word. The original. Turtles in Time is wonderful. Awesome. I've heard awesome things about it. I've heard both the arcade and the Super Nintendo version is really good. Alright, look at that super combo finish. Oh, that's it. Do we get an ending here, or we just save that for the story? Noel, Gaetano, Passeri, go to your room. No, we do get an ending. I have heard Turtles in Time is amazing. Is a beat 'em up. I mean, as far as the Konami beat 'em ups, I'm a huge fan of X-Men and The Simpsons, and I've played the Ninja Turtles one and beaten it as well. I have the Ninja Turtles one that was re-released on the Xbox 360, so the original arcade game, but they put these stupid, extremely ugly CG modern Ninja Turtles graphics for the character select faces, and it infuriates me to the point where I don't even want to play it, because the original looks so good. But, it is what it is. Look at this Japanese PlayStation game flexing its optical audio muscles right here. See, I'm the kind of guy that will sit through Japanese dialogue I don't necessarily understand, just to kind of soak it all in. See, yeah, dude, it sucks, man. That CG in the old Ninja Turtles game, it doesn't affect the actual gameplay itself, but they just made the character select portraits look so ridiculously ugly. So, nice credits here already, man. See, this game alone would have been worth the $50. the slight difference in character design style in this game, it doesn't really bother me. It's similar. They've just kind of made the noses a little more rounded and minimalistic, and have accentuated the cheekbones a bit more. But it's all good, man. It's still a beautiful game. It's just, stylistic preference. Yeah, I think you guys will like the selection of game. It's Variable Geo, only the Super Famicom. I don't believe there's any Famicom release. The game started out on the PC 88, and I believe on the 98 as well. Yeah, but the PC 88 and 98 games are the more inappropriate ones, I should say. And then the home console ports are, for family audiences, for the most part. So yeah, there we go. It's a Variable Geo 2. So if you hit reset, it takes you back to this screen here. Well, let's save. Why not? Save our data here. Here's inappropriate rock, paper, scissors. WWF in your house. The Sega Saturn version of this is superior. How did I get the Super Famicom? Again, from Byright Games. And I have a Super Nintendo Mini that is modded to play both Super Famicom and SNES cartridges. Wild Arms, Virtual Pro Wrestling. This is the Japanese version of WCW versus the World. We'll play this. It's good, very good, but I actually prefer Versus the World because it has more WCW wrestlers, including the greatest wrestler of all time, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. But Virtual Pro Wrestling, I've just dabbled in it a bit. Love what I've seen. So we'll play this. But I'm such a huge WCW NWO mark, so I actually prefer the US version to the Japanese version, but I still really like this game quite a bit. I wonder if I should hit the lights. Sometimes hitting the lights makes the TV pop out more. Sometimes with this live stream camera, it can make the contrast actually oversaturated and make it harder to see. Trying to remember. I'm basically just trying to remember the order of things from WCW versus the World. Pretty sure this is Exhibition. So we see the screen from WCW versus the World, but you'll notice that the WCW wrestlers are gone, and now we have just more Japanese wrestlers. Now keep in mind, we do still have WCW wrestlers in this game, but they're more spread apart. So there's Scott Norton, there's Barbarian, there's Ric Flair, with a different portrait than he had in the Versus the World. There's Sting, also with a different portrait than in Versus the World. We don't have the Crow Sting, we have the quote-unquote Surfer Sting. I love the soundtrack of this game. Great Muda. That's one of the Hellraiser Legion of Dooms. There's Hawk. Rick Steiner, who is actually not in WCW versus the World. There's Vader, who's a horrible person in real life a lot of the time. Ultimo Dragon. What the heck was his name? Hakushi, I think was his name. Taka Michinoku. Sasuke. So, alright, so for the purposes of this game here, it's gonna be Scott Flash Norton. We're gonna go with Sting, though. So it looks like I chose a tournament mode. So no, normally, like on Versus the World, like you'll start off with Crow Sting, and then hitting start will give you Surfer Sting. But since you're already Surfer Sting, I think they're gonna just give me a different color of Surfer Sting here. Yeah, I got red Surfer Sting here. What? Sharpshooter, but it's the Scorpion Deathlock. I can't tell if it's this version of the game or the ROM, but the music here is slightly slower than in Versus the World. Slightly, it's not very noticeable at all. Gameplay is not affected at all, though. So this right here is the game that started it all. Even before WCW Versus the World. Virtual Pro Wrestling. Now what we should play after this is WWF In Your House. And you can really get a sense of the difference between WCW and WWF at the time. You know, WCW just had so many more dimensions to it than WWF. And even when WWF eventually overtook WCW in the ratings, they were still, in my opinion, the more shallow product. They were a much more one-dimensional product, where WCW was more multi-dimensional and having lots of different styles of wrestling. Something for everyone, as Eric Bischoff liked to say, right? You had the established WWF, WCW guys. You had the guys from Japan. You know, you had the... So you basically had a combination of the, you know, the cruiserweights, the heavyweights, the middleweights. All really were highlighted, not always to the full extent that they should have been storyline-wise, but their matches and their presence on the show really added so much to the just enjoyment of the product. And WWF just never had that. I mean, what they had was, you know, when Russo was really rolling with them, you know, pretty much everyone had something to do creatively, but it was, I think, still a pretty one-dimensional storytelling style, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just WCW. I just preferred everything about WCW. And I think WCW was a superior product, which is why WCW wrestlers, well, I should say particularly the NWO, went over so quickly on The Rock and Steve Austin. You know, because the second WCW guys showed up in WWF and actually were presented in their proper form, they were more popular than the WWF wrestlers with the WWF fans. 1, 2, 3! Sting wins. Alright, good deal. So, I think this is just going to make me go through a tournament here. As much as I love WCW Versus the World here, we have already streamed this game, even though this is its Japanese version. But in this case, the Japanese version, despite being cool as hell, I think is actually the inferior version, at least for my taste, because it's lacking so many of the WCW guys. No, you know what? Rick Steiner wasn't in Versus the World. Now that you mentioned, now that I'm thinking back to it, what? Because I'm trying to think back to those hand-drawn character portraits, and I remember now that Rick Steiner was in there with Scott Steiner with his mullet. So, yeah, Rick Steiner. I misspoke. Rick Steiner was in both Versus the World. I thought it was weird that they would cut out Rick Steiner. These games always had such a nice soundtrack as well. I mean, in my opinion, while the gameplay became more sophisticated with these Aki Asmic wrestling games, The music, I think, got worse with each one. I wish AEW would make an Aki-asmic wrestling game. I think that would be phenomenal. It would really show up WWE as well, because their wrestling games are just abysmal. I have beyond zero interest in playing them. They just look like a clunky hot mess. And not in the good Taryn Terrell TNA hot mess. She's a hot mess. I was watching Pluto TV, and they have like an Impact Wrestling channel. They were showing like TNA Lockdown 2011 or 2010. I don't know which one it was. It must have been 2011. But man, TNA, the roster they had was like, I think in all likelihood, it might have been the best roster ever assembled. You know, next to WCW in its heyday. And I just remember people just crapping on TNA relentlessly. And I don't know, man. Like, the internet killed TNA more than anything. I mean, like, was TNA always perfect creatively? Like, no, but it was, like, really very good in my opinion. They had a great roster. Their matches were good. They had some of that range of talent and presentation that WCW had. You know, they had their X division, they had their veterans, they had a women's division. That was by far the best women's division in wrestling, in the United States at least. Yeah, they just got nonstop negative internet attention for no good reason other than the fact that, you know, people on the internet hate Hulk Hogan, and just a bunch of WWF marks, and you know, Meltzer didn't like TNA, so of course all the rest of the kind of tool internet commentators didn't like TNA, and yeah, just could never get any traction or momentum. So there's virtual pro wrestling. We have some Darkstalkers. We always play Darkstalkers on here. Jim is your name, man. I was like, I thought your name was John. Yeah, but dude, I totally talked up your service and your product and your store, man. You are awesome. Thank you for this awesome product. So we played lots of sexy rock, paper, scissors. No, we didn't. We didn't play any of that. I don't think I'm going to play that at all. We beat VG2. Which was fantastic. And then we actually played some virtual pro wrestling, the Japanese version of WCW versus the World. And now we're going to go to... I said X. That just reloads the games here. We're going to actually play some WWF In Your House. This is actually the inferior version of this game compared to the Sega Saturn version, which I do have. But the upside to this game is I will play a couple minutes of Sexy Rock Paper Scissors. We'll cut it before they start taking anything serious off. But like, okay, the good thing about the PlayStation version of this game is that Saturn had more colors. A lot of the time it had faster load time. It was really, really amazing with 2D animations, and when programmed properly, it could actually outclass the PlayStation in 3D. But the PlayStation, easy to program for, incredibly crisp, clear, full-motion video. And the full-motion video on this game is a lot better visually than the full-motion video on the Sega Saturn game, which I don't mind, but the Sega Saturn full-motion video is super pixelated. If you hit select, you can filter out built-in crappy games. Ooh, interesting. Not that I don't want to play Intelligent Cube. Actually, Intelligent Cube is a pretty good game, but there are definitely some questionable choices. The version of this console that Jim built for me is infinitely greater than the version of this console that Sony sold to me. So, all right, let's put the difficulty down and turn blocking off. Turning blocking off actually makes this game a lot more fun to play, in my opinion. Now, the downside about the PlayStation version of this game is that load times are longer, and the Red Book audio is not really there like it is with the Sega Saturn, right? Sega Saturn version of this game, it was like you could just listen to every one of these guys' theme songs in their entirety. And this version, I believe the theme songs just kind of loop in a much shorter audio sample. I'm tempted as hell to be Gold Dust because I'm a huge fan of AEW, and Dustin Rhodes right now is in the greatest shape of his career. But as much of a kind of bitter person that he is, Bret Hart is by far my favorite WWF wrestler of the 90s. I mean, Hulk Hogan was my favorite wrestler of the 90s by far, but Hogan was a WCW NWO guy, so on the WWF team, Bret Hart was always my favorite. Vader. Alright. Okay, so we're going to choose Bret Hart. Bret Hart versus Bret Hart, Bret Hart, Bret Hart, and Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog.
Tonight, in the squared circle, Bret Hart versus Hunter
Hearst Helmsley, and the King of Hearts, Owen Hart. You can tell I played this game a ton on Sega Saturn, so. I do have the PlayStation version on actual CD. Uh-oh, man. Jim, it looks like there's another issue here. It looks like In Your House just crashed, so that's no fun. But luckily I've got that game anyway, but let me try that one more time. Thus far, only 2 games were not at 100%. That's fine, bro. Don't worry about it. We'll just keep a note of the ones that don't play perfectly, and then, like you said, you know, if the emulator gets better or they find a better ROM or something like that, you know, it's all good, man. I'm just super appreciative because the amount of games that work on this are freaking amazing. And if even 3, you know, like if just a handful of these don't work, you know, I mean, I'm sure we'll find a way to get it to work. And it's the lineup is so strong anyway, in my opinion, you know. So.
Welcome to In Your House.
Let's try that again. Let's try Shawn Michaels. The WWF New Generation.
Matchup this is Shawn Michaels versus Shawn Michaels.
USA version, maybe the alternative works better. Yeah, it just is. It doesn't seem to work. That's okay though. No worries. We could. Alright. We have Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha. This game is ridiculously good. Super tempted to play that. But actually, ooh, Sexy Parodius. Let's play some of that. So, Jim, Street Fighter, the interactive movie, would do that. It would just kind of kick back to the menu screen. So this is a shmup of the parody variety. So Gradius is a big Konami shoot 'em up, and then Twin-B was the Cute 'em up. So they would have these kind of like dual brands a lot of the time. They'd have like a serious spaceship shooter and then a cartoony spaceship shooter, and so this is like the cute version of Gradius, taken to like the extreme here of Cute 'em up action. Let's do 9 lives, like a cat. Game level, easy. Screen mode, arcade. I can already tell I'm gonna love this game here. Let's be Hikaru. So unlike Twin Bee, this game is a side rather than over the top parody shoot 'em up shooter. I don't know if you guys ever saw the Famicom Konami commercials, but they're amazing. This game is very, very enjoyable, very vibrant, very smooth in its gameplay and execution. So once again, I can't thank Jim enough for his awesome product here. In fact, Jim Arrow, one of the guys on the stream, was actually just talking about how he was would be interested. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to force you into anything, but you know, he was saying like, oh, I might be interested in this service because he liked how this looked so much. So, yeah. So Retro Zoltan Speaks. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jim. I believe that's the name of your store on Etsy. So good stuff. So the PlayStation Mini went from my least played mini console to, I don't know, maybe this is going to be my most played mini console. Although, I don't know, man. It's going to be right up there with the PC Engine Mini, the Mega Drive Mini, and the Famicom. I actually don't play my Super Famicom, or my Super Nintendo Mini that much. I don't know. Like, it's when I played the least. Actually, this is the PlayStation was when I played the least, but I do really like the Super Nintendo Mini. I just always end up playing the Genesis one, or the PC Engine one, or the Famicom one a bit more. But the Super Nintendo Mini's great. It's got Mario RPG and Donkey Kong, Street Fighter, Castlevania. This has got Symphony of the Night in Japanese on it. Such a kawaii game to play. Yeah, I do love Japanese games. It's freaking Ear of Corn over here. Down to like pea shooter mode here. Mission complete. So this right here, this space level with this black screen is gonna not show up well on the phone. I'm gonna move the camera in a bit. Nah, it's not really helping. Ah, that works better. Okay. Probably missed a bunch of no, I thought those were power-ups, but I wasn't sure, so I dodged them, and then I'm like, oh, they're probably power-ups. It's like, no, they kill you. Get some Twin Bee bells right here. Whoa! Dude, what the freak, man? I love all the Twin Bee bells in here. Ah, man! Let's try Vic Viper. Oh, does each guy have their own, Oh no, this is the same level. For whatever reason, I thought it looked a little different. Mermaids and bathtubs. Oh, no, and there's a dude, too, so... It's definitely an equal opportunity, funny game. Alright, Creepy Penguin. Shoot for the belly button here. Darn it. Ah, come on, bro. So, again, I always talk up Gaijillionaire's YouTube channel. If you have not checked out Gaijillionaire's YouTube channel, please check it out. He's my favorite YouTuber, and he has a great video on Parodius. Alright, we'll do this mission and then we'll switch to another game. I mean, I could play this game all night. It's super fun. But we do want to kind of spread the wealth a bit here. And I don't know how much you guys are into watching shmups. Super fun game, it is. I want to check out the Twin Bees they got here as well. There are some full motion video games as well. I am a huge fan of Road Avenger, Road Blaster. That is a hard game though. So I'm not good at it, but I just love the Sega CD version of it so much that I had to put the PlayStation version on, which is more arcade perfect. But lacks the really great original opening song that the Sega CD version has. I do have Time Gal on here as well. Alright, this game is great. We're gonna actually switch it though. You gotta play one weird game, play that one weird game next. Alright. I know what you all want to see. Alright, this is going to like, what you would see at the beach level max, okay? Alright. Lord have mercy on us all. I like that Sony's like, we do not endorse this game. Not licensed by Sony. The intro is bad alone. I mean... Okay. So, we have different girls we can play rock, paper, scissors with here. She looks nice. Let's choose her. Her name is Makoto Ari. She is 19. And this is information about her. This is sexy rock, paper, scissors. About as sexy as you can get here. Okay, so this is how it works here. This girl basically dances around. If you win, she loses something. If you lose, you just keep seeing the scene over again. I choose triangle. Ah, darn it. Tie. Get used to this screen, you guys. You might be seeing it quite a bit. This game actually, quote-unquote, cheats. So there's always a 60% chance that the computer will beat you. Yes, we won. Or should I say, uh-oh, we won. Alright. It's loading something here. My hand is like right near the reset button in case it gets a little crazy here. That is some nice synthesizer music right there. She just took her jacket off. But if you were Amish, you would be freaking out right now. I'll lower this a little bit here. Ah, darn it. Accidentally hit the wrong thing. Alright. I don't think we gotta go anymore. Tie. Alright, we'll just see how this match ends. If it looks like it's gonna get crazy, we'll stop it. Ah, darn it. Or maybe not. Tie. You gotta hit X to kind of speed it up. I could just watch this. I mean, she's a wonderful, wonderful dancer. Yes! Uh-oh. Alright. We've got our hand near the reset button here. Nothing we wouldn't see at the beach, so. Alright, we literally can't do any more. Alright, that's the end of that. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed that. That is Sexy Rock, Paper, Scissors. Nothing too risque. Yeah, we'll quit while we're ahead. But I think I am going to save that. Save your progress for later. Alright, no, it's gotta be... After that is a no. Oh, one more and that should be good. No, it should be good. It is why I'm going to stop it right there. Street Fighter 03 Rival Schools 2 might be interesting. But actually, you know what I think would be really cool? This is one of my favorite 3D fighters. This is actually a Rurouni Kenshin fighting game. So we'll actually queue this up. This actually have this. My friend burned me this disc years ago, and I thought this game was really good. But I think you know, the fact that it's Kenshin makes me like it more unconditionally. You know, because I'm a huge fan of Rurouni Kenshin. So. Just the one round. So the cool thing, Watsuki, the mangaka that did Kenshin, he's a big fan of X-Men. So you can tell, like, this character here is inspired by Gambit. This character here has claws like Wolverine. So it's cool stuff. We're gonna... Oh man, I love Sanosuke though. He's so cool. We're gonna be Kenshin though. It's been a while since I played this. Looks great on this console. So this character was really cool. He had these like Wolverine claws, and the stripes on his sleeves created an optical illusion, which made it hard to kind of track his movements, the movements of his punches. Sanosuke! We also have a Ranma Half Fighter that I've never played, but looks really cool. We also have a Sailor Moon fighting game. Had your hand on the reset. That is all I had my hand on. Hi-yo. Yeah, and I did have my hand on the reset button because I didn't know what was going to go down there, and I've already got one strike on this copyright channel. Plus, you know, I've got students. Like, I don't want them, saying, oh, Mr. Passery had inappropriate things on his YouTube channel. Keep this YouTube channel family-friendly. I think after this game, I'm going to get a non-alcoholic cold beverage. The alcoholic cold beverage I had last time, you know, in addition to just being tired, that really kind of knocked me out, because, so shot. Kenshin! Perfect. PG-13 at the most. Yes, we go to PG-13. This is like the Jurassic Park of YouTube channels. Clever girl. Man, Muldoon could have beaten that raptor, too. All he had to do was, like, hit it with the butt of his rifle. This is what I do at night. Think about how Jurassic Park characters could have avoided getting killed. Like that lawyer on the toilet. Just don't move. Its vision is based on movement. Don't move. Maybe he doesn't see us. Because Mr. Feeney's vision is also based on movement. No, light. Yeah, dude, it is what it is, man. I mean, I don't get, like... I don't know. I just... like, alcohol just makes me tired, you know? That's just all... I mean, I like to drink socially with friends, and that's it. Like, I just don't think it's a wise idea to drink till you're incapacitated, you know? This doesn't appeal to me. I mean, and I'm, even when I'm sober, I sound drunk, so, you know. Actually, the more I drink, the more serious I get. I start talking about the stock market and, you know, accounting information. Like, for the love of God, get this man some coffee. Take another minute of this. He's talking about feline AIDS. Okay, mirror match here. Speaking of mirror match, we could play Mortal Kombat 2 after this. I've never played the PlayStation 2 version of Mortal Kombat 2, let alone the Japanese one. So I found out about that rock, paper, scissors game on Vink from Famicom Dojo's live streams. And he had it for the Sega Saturn. And when I was making this list up for Gem, I was thinking to myself, like, there's some good Japanese games. And then I saw that they had a PlayStation version of that game as well. And he's like, oh, they don't have that game. And I'm like, actually, they definitely do. And then he looked at it, and he's like, all right, I got this for you. You see what I do for my customers. I'm actually gonna get a drink right now because I'm fairly thirsty. Okay, so you got anything you invested in, like a video game, like I put a lot of time in? Is that what you mean? If that is what you mean, I'm trying to get through Final Fantasy VII Remake, but um, I just I either end up doing live streams or I'm too tired to play it. But it is it's beautiful. I love the game. Stock market? No, no, no. I I'm not a stock market person. I'm just joking around. I'm just trying to think of like the most dry thing possible you could talk about. Stocks are frustrating right now. Yeah, I'm sure. I have no idea what the stock market is doing right now. I know that the economy was doing well, um, but I'm wearing my Evolution shirt for the Dreamcast game. I know that the economy was doing well before the pandemic. I know that Trump has deregulated the economy a lot, and that has the double-edged sword effect of making stocks go way up, but it also makes the economy less stable because the more you deregulate the economy, the more reckless people can get with their spending on credit and lending. So, COVID messed with the stocks for a little. How much has it recovered since the big hit to I have no idea, man. Like, my knowledge of economics, honestly, is more done through what I'm trying to figure out how to like set this phone down so I can pour my drink. I studied a lot of Soviet history, and with that, I studied a lot of Marxist economic analysis, which is kind of like taboo for a lot of economists and people in the United States. Marx was like really good, I think, at understanding what does not work about capitalism. But he also rightly understood that if a socialist economy is going to work, it has to be built on the foundation of a mature, well-functioning capitalist economy, where the things that capitalism has to offer are fully there to be taken advantage of under a new economic system. So, he understood that, which is good, and he also understood how the economic cycles can be damaging and self-defeating as well. Most things have gotten to a decent point, at least 75% recovery. On the topic of the stock market and Marx, Engels actually saw the stock market as a pre-form of socialism because you could kind of buy into corporations. Now, ultimately, what's ended up happening with that is corporations only really pay attention to the people that buy the most stock, which are obviously the people with the most money. But yeah, it's still, stock market definitely has a lot of positive potential. Tonight we're drinking some drink my wife got at Target. Coconut pineapple sparkling water with natural flavors. Yeah, there's that. Okay. All right, back to our PlayStation. We should probably play some Marvel vs. Capcom EX, which is a cool game. It's Marvel vs. Capcom on the PlayStation, which is not as good as on the Dreamcast, but it is it's still a fantastic 2D fighter. It's the Marvel vs. Capcom that I played for a long time because I had a PlayStation before I had a Dreamcast. So my friend had the Dreamcast version of Marvel vs. Capcom. I had the American version. And I wanted to get the Japanese version just to see any differences. And I knew that Mega Man was called Rockman in it. And I believe they actually cut some of Morgan's winning poses because, Morgan is a succubus. And so, like, she wears some, like, dominatrix costumes and things like that they cut out. It's interesting because, like, Japan seems to be less hung up on sex in their video games, but more hung up on violence. So when it comes to editing violence, it seems like Japan is like much more on that, and in the United States, they're much more on like if anything is like sexual, they'll want to edit it immediately. But they'll be more cool with like uppercutting people's heads off and things like that. So it's an interesting cultural difference, and another thing that's kind of interesting is like I always hear that, and it's not a bad thing either, but like Japan is like very, very like drugs, no, like that does not have a place in our culture or in, our pop culture or anything like that. Whereas in the United States, it's like much more, kind of like it's kind of like given a blind eye a lot of the time. So, okay. So, enough about my Gaijin kind of analysis from afar. Let's get back to our obscure PlayStation games. So here's Kenshin, which I love deeply. This is a great game. But we're actually gonna mix it up a little bit here. Rival schools. Neketsu Seishun 2. What do we want to do? Tobal number 2. That is an interesting game. Yeah, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. I would consider just. I mean, if it wasn't for like Final Fantasy VII and the whatchamacallit, there's a. I'm blanking on the name of the genre. Wild Arms is also really good. There's Sailor Moon game's really good. What the heck is that genre called? Persona. There's like the first Persona on here as well. This JoJo's Bizarre Adventure game is great. The East never really had a lot of that while it was developing. The US had a huge amount of influence of Abrahamic religion. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, I think a lot of that influence has actually been a positive thing. It seems like Japan was much more influenced by Confucianism, and the United States much more from Judeo-Christianity. And I actually think, a lot of that is, can be a good thing. But it's different. Pros and cons for different perspectives, I wonder if there's a way I wanted to get this to play the attract mode for you guys. So I think what I'll just do is I'll just start a game and then reset it. We unlocked Lilith. Where is she? I beat Lilith. We should have her. I mean, no, you know what we gotta do? We gotta beat the game with Morgan to do that. Rockman. Man, I love this game so much. Alright, we'll watch the attract mode here. Nah, darn it, won't do the attract mode. You know what, I'm gonna reset it here so you can see the attract mode. It's interesting how... Whoa. How, when it says the PlayStation logo, you just don't see the Sony Computer Entertainment of America. It just says PlayStation.
Capcom presents Marvel vs. Capcom. Marvel versus Capcom.
So, the Saturn, well, in this case it was Dreamcast. The Sega versions of these Capcom fighters were always better than the PlayStation versions, but the PlayStation versions would always call themselves EX, and they would a lot of the time have, like, little extras that the Sega ones wouldn't have. Don't mess with occasion. Let's go crazy, guys. We'll do a crossover battle, and then we'll do a, we'll maybe do a bit of a run in arcade mode here. So, with the PlayStation version of this game, it's crossover mode. You had to do a mirror match. And the computer would choose one person, and you would choose one person. And I mean, that actually did give you a good deal of variety in your teams. So I remember I just like played the crap out of this game, both with the crossover mode and with the Zangief. Man, this looks so good on this monitor. You can see so much detail. Yeah, so I mean, I just played a ton of the PlayStation version of this game. Nothing good, nothing but a good old fighting gem. Yes, absolutely, man. So, my son has recently gotten into Darkstalkers, which is a little mature, so we actually watched the US cartoon, which is, like, very... It's not that bad. It's weird, though. They really desexified Morgan in that cartoon. They just made her some, like, weird Scottish hag, as opposed to just this, like, sexy Baywatch vampire girl. This game, oh man, it is so much better looking than... I mean, I think it's better looking than Marvel vs. Capcom 2, in all honesty. I do like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, though. We've had this discussion, but I like the presentation of this better. But it's definitely much, much, much better than Infinite. Hyper Rockman.
Rockman win.
Oh, whoa, we got it perfect. Well done. Rock and roll. Oh, it chose Lilith. Alright, what's gonna have a Morgan party here? So, extra characters in these games often would be palette swaps. So, they made a Morgan with Lilith colors. They also have an orange and red Venom, which they call Carnage. So, yeah. There's that. So, the Lilith Morgan has the Lilith projectiles here. The other thing this game had that was interesting was they had like the zoom in for when you threw the character. Characters also had more colors you could choose from. Soul Feast, Soul Feast. That should do it.
Morgan win.
Yeah, it's not even up for debate. Marvel vs. Capcom 1 is like way better than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is an ugly game with ugly music. If it wasn't for Jetta, the game would not be fun to play. And even with Jetta, the game is kind of annoying. I mean, I feel like I should just play that on a stream so we could talk about what's right and wrong with it, and how much more is wrong with it than right with it.
Spider suit is tingling. Ready.
So, fun fact. My best friend, who I used to go over to his house, and I would always play the Dreamcast version of this game. His favorite superhero is Spider-Man. My favorite superhero is Wolverine. So this was always a kind of a fun fight and a contentious issue, who would win, Spider-Man or Wolverine. And Wolverine would win. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, Wolverine is the ultimate fighting machine. They rhyme. Wolverine, fighting machine. Anita. I really need to check out the Darkstalkers anime. Looks like you've got a burning distaste for that game. Infinite? Yeah, because it's like, dude, that game came out the same time as Dragon Ball FighterZ. When Dragon Ball FighterZ is the best fighting game of this generation, okay? I say that with no reservation. It's better than Street Fighter V. It's better than I think it's better than Mortal Kombat. It's one of the most beautiful games ever made. They do great justice to the Dragon Ball characters in the Dragon Ball franchise. And then, and it was basically designed to be like a Dragon Ball version of Marvel vs. Capcom. And the Marvel vs. Capcom game came out, and it was like just this ugly mess with cinematic music, which was unengaging, and a lot of the time the gameplay was slow, and I didn't like the adjustments they made to the gameplay either. So, and they made it 2-on-2, like that was some kind of feature to give you less. I mean, this game is 2-on-2, but if you're gonna go like 3-on-3, like don't cut out the 3-on-3, make it 2-on-2 and then a 3-on-3 and a 1-on-1 option. I'm so sick of these new video games cutting stuff out, and then, in 2 years you get the game that you should have had. I mean, just wasted milk people to buy more DLC. So I love Roll. She's so hilarious and cute. Ooh, who do you want to be? Let's unlock Roll. Rockman. Let's do Rockin' Ryu. Man, I can literally just sit and listen to this menu music forever. So, in this mode, it's 1-on-1. It's the arcade mode. You do 1-on-1, and then you can either have infinite assist partners, or you can also have your traditional tag partner, and he or she will only be available for your super moves. For example, this right here. Roll and Mega Man 8 was probably the peak of her character design. Is that her character design in this? Or did they change her character design in Mega Man 8? Because I don't remember how she looked in Mega Man 8. I think in Mega Man 9 they put her back in her red kind of overall dress. Nice. Yeah, this is her best looking design. I agree with that. We are Venom. Still gonna go on my rant about how Brock Lesnar needs to play Venom. Because he is Eddie Brock. They're the same person. Marvel movies also need to, I think, drop that 8 and 9 broader backer address. Yes. Not 8 and 9, 9 and 10 is what you're saying. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think they put her in her red dress for Tatsunoko versus Capcom. I mean, even though this game doesn't have the tag battle in it, this game is still insanely fun to play. This game and Street Fighter Alpha 3, I just played the absolute crap out of on my PlayStation. Like, the summer of 99, this game, Alpha 3, Final Fantasy 8. Like, pretty much on a loop. And then we threw in some Xenogears there, too. So. Maybe 11, I haven't played that one yet. 11's supposed to be a lot easier. I think they would put like an easy mode in 11. My problem, a lot of the time when they re-release these platformers, Sonic Mania was awesome. I think they did it perfect, but a lot of the time they will, I think, zoom the camera out too far. So it's like, oh, you're not jumping blind, but then your character looks like a freaking pea. And, like, the whole thing about 2D games is, like, you get these big, rich sprites, you know? That are very expressive. The more expressive, the better. Come on. Ah! Got him. Dr. Light. He's like Santa Claus. You know, I don't think I would have such a strong dislike for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite if it wasn't, like, such a disappointing entry in my favorite fighting game series. Like, I thought the Marvel vs. Capcom 3s were not bad at all. Those were good games. I think the style of them was good. I prefer this visual style more, but I could tell they were trying to go for, like, the 2010s style comic book, which, I mean, I'm not that huge a fan of that comic book. I mean, I do like it, but I don't like that comic book style artwork as much as the 90 one. Hey, yes, one player, True Sinister, welcome. True Sinister, you are in for a treat, man. We are playing a modded PlayStation Mini loaded with my kind of Japanese games. So lots of obscure, crazy stuff. And you missed out on sexy rock, paper, scissors. We had to hit the reset button because she was going to take off too much. So watch the replay. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And, you know, you may want to, you know, not watch it with other people in the room because they might judge you harshly. But anyway, it's good stuff. Yeah, we beat Variable Geo 2. We played some 3D Rurouni Kenshin. We played Sexy Rock, Paper, Scissors. What else did we play on here? We played Virtual Pro Wrestling, the Japanese version of WCW versus the World, which is good, but I prefer WCW versus the World because that's got more WCW wrestlers in it. But it was cool to see some of the WCW wrestlers they had in that game, like Sting, Ric Flair, Rick Steiner. So it's good stuff. So this is the PlayStation. This is Marvel vs. Capcom EX. We were playing as Rockman. We played some mirror match crossover fights, and now we're just doing the one player. VP Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 is the one I always hear about. Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, I believe that's Revenge. No. Virtual Pro Wrestling 2's World Tour. And then, yeah, I think Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 is World Tour. WCW versus NWO World Tour in the 64. Then they made Revenge. And then, I think, was Virtual Pro Wrestling... The third Virtual Pro Wrestling was, I think, WrestleMania 2000, I want to say. But all those games are freaking ridiculous. Those are the best wrestling games ever made, in my opinion. And I was saying, though, that, you know, I think the music in WCW versus the World the music in Versus the World / the first virtual pro wrestling is the best music in the franchise. Virtual Pro Wrestling 64 is World Tour. Then Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 is either Revenge or WrestleMania 2000. Part of me wants to say Revenge was just made as its own game, but I'm not 100% on that. PS Virtual Pro Wrestling is Versus the World. Yes, we played that. We played that earlier in the stream. And it's good. It plays well. It just doesn't have the cool... It doesn't have, like, Hollywood Hogan, which is kind of lame. But, I mean, it's still a phenomenal game. I'm just such a Hogan mark, you know? Like, I use that as an opportunity to complain about how far TNA has fallen, you know, because I actually was a big fan of Hogan and TNA. I thought they had the best roster on the planet when he was there. And I like TNA, like, all the way from the Asylum through the Pop TV days. Now it's a dead brand, but, you know, the Hogan years were, I think, its peak, which, you know, I don't care what any freaking, you know, internet nerd says. I thought the storylines were exciting. I mean, I was watching a little bit of Lockdown 2011 or 2010. Like, it was insane. They had, like, the Young Bucks, they had Rob Van Dam, they had Hulk Hogan, they had Sting was their world champion. I mean, it was insane. It was this crazy dream team roster. You know, Bully Ray, Mr. Kennedy, you know, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels. I mean, like, literally, like, it was just this who's who of famous wrestlers. And they were all there when Hogan was there. And, like, but the internet just, like, crapped all over TNA because, you know, Dave Meltzer doesn't like Bischoff and Hogan. And a lot of them are, like, WWF fans who are just pissed off at any kind of competition. I'm a big fan of AEW. I think Tony Khan is getting too much of an ego, but the product is the best wrestling on television by far, in my opinion. And it's a great successor show to Nitro. Mr. Anderson, yes. I actually met him at a TNA show. He was super nice. I got my picture taken with him. It was when he had, like, Jeff Hardy's heavyweight belt. The one, remember, like, Jeff Hardy, like, showed up effed up to a pay-per-view and he couldn't wrestle Sting? He was like high, and they didn't realize it, and then it was like match time, and Bischoff's like, goes this thing, you have to beat him immediately because he's literally going to pass out or die in the ring, you know? And Sting was like super pissed, as he should be. But then anyway, I just remember like Mr. Anderson had that weird Jeff Hardy like evil clown belt when I had my picture taken with him. But TNA's shows were like, their live shows when they would come to Syracuse and Binghamton were so much better than WWF's shows. Man, I met like Madison Rayne, I met Jeff Jarrett, I met Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle was so nice. I mean, they're all nice. What are they going to do, be like jerks to you? I don't like Tony Khan at all, mostly fueled by his... Yeah, who the hell is Tony Khan? Like, first of all, okay, Hogan, like, if you're saying, like, racist crap in private, that's stupid. If you're saying racist crap in private on a sex tape, that's even stupider. But the fact of the matter is like, he apologized for that. It was years and years ago. And Hulk Hogan, you know, is the literal mold of the wrestling business. And love him or hate him, you have to respect what he's done. And Hulk Hogan wasn't even talking to Tony Khan. You know, Hulk Hogan's ex-wife, who he has nothing to do with anymore, decided to say something stupid on Twitter, and then Tony Khan took it as a chance to take a shot at Hulk Hogan. It's like, I'm going to ban you for life. Like, what the... Dude, I mean, he is so naive if he thinks that Arn Anderson never said anything racist in his life. You should never say anything racist. The other week, me and a couple friends watched the Hardy Sting match. Interesting. That is a crazy match, man. I was a huge fan of his Willow work. Hogan is why TNT event has... Yes, it is true. It's why TNT is a... Hey, you got Mega Shockwave. And no NWO, no Elite. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, 1,000,000,000%, man. And it's like, you know... And Hulk Hogan has been, like, really good to African-American wrestlers, at least, you know, in the locker room. Like, I'm a big fan of... Harlem Heat is my second favorite tag team of all time. Yeah, I mean, you know, like... Yeah, it's like, you know, don't say it. You should never say stuff like that. People screw up and say stupid stuff all the time, though. It's like, I hate this idea of, you know, like, you did something wrong in the past, and therefore that must define you forever, despite the fact that you apologize for it. Like, that is the dumbest logic, and that kind of mentality is going to always make things worse, you know. And it's an immature, Arrow, I think, was talking about Abrahamic religions. I mean, one of the great things that Christianity has, really emphasized is forgiveness and redemption. And, I think sadly, as we've gotten farther away from Christianity, I mean, you guys don't have to be religious at all, I don't care. But I think as we've gotten farther away from Christianity as a culture, people have kind of doubled down and become more toxic, bitter, and resentful and unforgiving. And, it shows. It's like, Hulk Hogan said some stupid crap in private, like, more than almost a decade ago. And it's like Tony Khan's like, I'm banning you for life from my company. It's like, all right, bro. Like, first of all, I don't know. He would be lucky to have Hulk Hogan even acknowledge AEW. And as far as I'm concerned, AEW is the best wrestling in the country right now. It makes WWF look like crap. I can't watch WWF. Hogan was just really mad at one of the guys being overprotective of his daughter. Yeah, I'm not going to make, like, I don't know, man. Like, Hulk Hogan's my hero. I'm not going to watch him doing anything inappropriate. I surprisingly am Christian. God, it's not surprising, man. That's good, man. God bless. I'm a Sunday school teacher. I went to an evangelical Christian school, and I'm a Catholic. I am a Catholic Marxian social democrat who hangs out with evangelical Christians. So I think Khan is trying to be too much of a star. It's already gone to his head. It's like, and he's like been on TV for like a handful of months. And Kenny Omega needs to just beat him up if he ever talks about putting himself on TV. That said, I'm such a huge fan of AEW. I don't know if any of you saw AEW last night, but freaking Britt Baker as a heel is literally one of the funniest things I've ever seen in wrestling. She is hilarious. She's like pretty and funny and tough, and just she has this like crazy megalomaniac character. She's got Rebel from TNA as her like servant, and she calls her Reba. Like, Tony Schiavone is just like this nerdy guy who I guess is her friend, and he's like trying to be nice while she just like either like she insults him, but she's also like kind of his friend, and he's just kind of oblivious to the whole situation, trying to do his job. And Noel gets along with us Baptist peeps too. Yeah, that's what I said. Cortland Christian Academy. Well, I should have specified evangelical and Baptist, because I hang out with Baptists, and then the peripheral of evangelical Christianity from Baptists will hang out with the CCA crowd. Like, you'll get Pentecostals at a Baptist Bible study sometimes, So, dude, Nick, I have loved seeing Pastor Miller in the mornings. In fact, tomorrow is going to be another AM with PM. So Nick went to the church that my high school was out of. It still does go to the church. I actually went to his wedding not that long ago, which was held at my high school, which is also a church, because the church and the school are connected to each other. And the principal at the school, right, I know, right? I'm friendly with anyone that acts friendly, as you should be, man, absolutely. So anyway, the high school principal is named Pastor Miller. And so during quarantine, he would always do these like morning announcements, like every morning. And so I like jumped right on that because I love Pastor Miller. He's like absolutely like more of a father to me than my father, who just is like was never in my life, So Pastor Miller, like for sure they'd call him PM sometime. So he'd always do these like morning announcements, and he'd like call them like AMs with PM. And so I think. Oh man, NBA Jam Tournament Edition. We're gonna play some of that. So yeah, tomorrow is another AM. So for the summer, he's doing Friday editions of AMs with PM. So I got to go over there. Pastor Miller is a big Packers fan. I'm a big Vikings fan, but we get along swimmingly. I'm not gonna like cancel culture Pastor Miller because he has poor taste in football. So. Gotta love P. Mills. Great guy, huge influence. Absolutely. He's like Vader if he wasn't a jerk. Oh, True Sinister. We tried to play Versus the World. We tried to play In Your House for the PlayStation. It didn't work. Actually, Jim is on the stream, the guy who made me this. Awesome guy. Go to his store, Retro Zoltan Speaks, if you want to get your PS Mini pimped out. And a handful of games aren't working. By handful, I mean 3 thus far. And so In Your House isn't working. Street Fighter Real Battle on Film, the graphics are unstable. And Street Fighter the Interactive Movie is also not working. But Jim's super cool, man. He said, like, hey, we'll work on trying to get those ROMs working, and I'll send you a new USB drive, and you send back the old one. So 5-star rating for him and his store. Cool guy. I have never played the tournament edition of NBA Jam. I've played the absolute hell out of the version for Sega Genesis. But I've never played tournament edition in any like extended manner, and I've never played the PlayStation version of Tournament Edition. I rented In Your House along with the PS from Blockbuster. I have In Your House for the Sega Saturn, and I had that growing up. Yeah. Marvel Superheroes was my first game for Sony PlayStation. Marvel Superheroes and Versus the World were my first games for Sony PlayStation. You got those Christmas of '97. And before that, I had Sega Saturn, because I was, always a big Sega supporter. And then when Sega Saturn got phased out, sadly, because, the whole freaking... We talked about how Bernie Stolar is a freaking moron, but... Anyway, so big Sega Saturn fan. And I had In Your House on my Sega Saturn. So... I don't know any of the codes for the hidden characters. There's got to be like hidden character codes on that. Street Fighter the movie, I have that for Saturn, as you know. I reviewed that on the channel, and I love that game deeply. I love the Chage and Asuka ending credits. I don't know. I'm just gonna put in my initials here because I don't know what. Probably put in like a code to be the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air or something. You know? December 18th. That's my birthday. All right, let's play. Chicago Bulls.
Showtime! Tonight's matchup, Bulls versus Mavericks.
All right. I'm used to playing NBA Jam on the Genesis, so it'll be interesting to see the arcade style being used here on the PlayStation. I'm assuming it will.
Here's the tip.
Okay. I don't want to shoot. Ah, darn it. I didn't mean to do a full court shot there. Pass the ball.
Harper. Excuse me.
Alright, still getting the hang of... I mean, I got the general gist of this here. So triangle is jump. Square is shoot. X has got to be... What's your turbos? Circle is pass.
The turnover. Heating up.
So... Jordan would have just been coming out of retirement when this game was coming out. So 95. Jordan came back in 94. I think this was... I want to say this is 95. Because I'd say that like Jordan's not in this because of contract issues, but both Acclaim and Acclaim made both NBA Jam and Space Jam video games, so I would think Jordan would be in this game if he was actually back when this game was in development.
Excuse me.
Ah! Puts up a brick. Where's... Oh, there. Okay, so that's my... The shoulder button is my turbo. I always goaltend, I don't care. Darn it! Give me the ball. So I can honestly say this game is a ton of fun.
Excuse me.
I've never been much for basketball video games, but I'm a huge fan of NBA Jam. I'd love to play the Charles Barkley RPG fan game. Charles Barkley Gaiden, Shut Up and Jam. There's a great video by the YouTuber Wang. Yeah, they won 96, 97, 98, and 94. Was out most of 94, and yes, he was. So I remember the game. I watched his comeback game on my mom's 11-inch black and white TV she had in her room because I was watching TNBC stuff, and it was like Jordan's back, Jordan's back, Jordan's back. Like they were freaking out. Like it was like the Pope was coming, and it's, you know, when it comes to sports, Jordan's as good as it gets. You know, he, I think, is the best athlete of the 20th century. Yeah, it was like kind of crazy. Like all of a sudden, Jordan's back, and you know, it took him a while to get back. I'm always thrown off when I see a Harper and Pippen matchup. Yeah, well, they used to have Horace Grant, but Horace Grant must have been on the Magic for this game. I love Scottie Pippen, though. Scottie Pippen's cool as hell. I'm trying to dunk the ball here. What the heck, man? Ah, goaltending. Mike Tyson is my favorite combat athlete of all time. I actively try to box like Mike Tyson. I think the peekaboo style of boxing is one of the most, if not the most beautiful style of fighting I've ever seen. And Tyson doing it is just, I love Mike Tyson's fighting. And I think Mike Tyson's actually extremely intelligent and an interesting person as well, although I think he made horrible life choices. I have Michael Jordan's baseball rookie card. I can actually show it to you guys. Yeah, I remember, you know, it's crazy because, like, Jordan, 11-inch TV, 11-inch and black and white. We had that TV forever. Is it just Pippen and Harper, or can I mix up the... Does Pippen have, like, another partner on here? Yeah, it was crazy, because, like, Jordan, like, you know, you go from being, like, literally the pinnacle of your craft to, you know, okay, this guy's a good AAA baseball player. You know? Okay, so it looks like the triangle is more for dunking and the square is more for shooting. I'm pretty sure you can be DJ Jazzy Jeff in this game. I remember in the first NBA Jam, you could be Bill Clinton if you put in arc. And if you put in net, you could be Al Gore. Miss Arcade, some of these streams, you go broken minute. Yeah. Yeah, do they have an NBA Jam Arcade 1-up? If they don't, they should. I don't know, like, with player royalties, how that would work. Well, can you imagine how much an Arcade 1-up of NBA Jam would sell if they actually put the original characters and then included Jordan on the Bulls? I actually was a big fan of Jordan on the Wizards. I thought he was great on the Wizards. I mean, he was definitely older, you know, had to kind of get back into complete game shape, and plus his body's aging, but he could still drop 50 points on you at freaking 40 years old. And he was an absolute badass, like, you know, he's like, oh, you know what, my team's not that good. I think I'm actually better than everyone on this team. I'm gonna actually just play on the team myself, you know? I always like those, like, stories where, like, the older athlete, it's kind of like the grizzled veteran, comes and just, like, he's just this, like, aging gunman, you know? So I'm a huge Jordan Wizards fan. I did not want to shoot that. I wanted to pass it. If I can catch on fire, Iverson had crossed him over, but Iverson crossed him. Yeah, still. Iverson crosses everyone over, you know. Still amazes me the All-Star teams. He still made the All-Star team on the Wizards. Well, of course he's gonna make the All-Star team on the Wizards. I mean, like, the Wizards were still okay. Like, he was still really good on the Wizards. He just, you know, at 40 years old, like, you know what Jordan's problem was? He kept retiring and coming back. Like, so his whole thing is like, his body would need like a season or so to completely reacclimate to his, you know, true form. And when you're older, your body just doesn't cooperate as much as it used to. But he still had ridiculous games on the Wizards. I do remember Jordan missed that dunk on the Wizards in the All-Star game, though. But, I mean, you know, no one's perfect. And I still point to his highlights on the Wizards, of which you can see many. So I love wearing my Jordan Wizards jersey is actually getting a little chipped. So I actually would really like to get another Jordan Wizards jersey. Let's see if I can like work the claw. You punk! Shoot the ball! Ah! Oh, that's cool. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the anime Slam Dunk, but you need to watch it. It's amazing. It's essentially a Japanese high school basketball anime, but the different basketball players are based on famous NBA players. So, like, the team captain is based on Patrick Ewing. The main character is based on Dennis Rodman. There's a guy on the team who plays just like Michael Jordan. So it's a really great, engaging, emotional, beautifully drawn, funny, basketball anime that's paced like a fighting anime. So if you haven't seen Slam Dunk, check it out. If you're a fan of 90s basketball and anime and manga, as I am, check it out. I always wanted to play basketball when I was at CCA, but I didn't have confidence in my skills. And then I watched Slam Dunk and kind of like taught myself the techniques of playing basketball. So I think I'm like much better at basketball now at 37 years old than I was as a teenager. I did play soccer in high school though, but I'm definitely much more athletic now in my mid to late 30s than I was earlier on. But the boxing has helped a lot with that, with like the footwork. I actually got to do some boxing tonight. It was really fun. I mean, just like hitting the heavy bag and the speed bag and stuff, and it's just really relaxing. Man, we cannot be getting our butt kicked this badly here. Especially since I'm a monster at the Sega Genesis version of this game. So, Nick, you might appreciate this. I used to go to Jeff Thompson's house all the time. And on his black and white TV, we would always play NBA Jam. He had a little kind of like upstairs alcove room, the black and white TV, and what the hell, man? How do you fall out of your dunk? What is this? Anyway, we play NBA Jam on like a 20-inch black and white TV, and Saturday Night Slam Masters on Sega Genesis. I remember Shane, his older brother, would always say, I just want to get a quick game of NBA Jam in before I go to work. We're almost on fire here. No. Darn it. we're within striking distance here.
To Jackson. To Mashburn. To Jackson. Oh.
Get the ball. Darn it. Shoot the J. Shoot it. Give me the freaking ball. Ah, darn it. Ooh. I feel like I'm watching a Syracuse Orangeman game here. It's like, well, we're down by 11. Maybe we can get to single digits here. It's like, oh, then we made the Final Four. And then lost. I'm actually a big fan of Big East basketball. So if I can ever, like, when Syracuse and Georgetown play each other, like, I live right under Syracuse, so, like, it is like Orange County, USA in this region here, as it should be, because Syracuse Orangemen are freaking beasts at college basketball, but I'm pissed off at them for leaving the Big East. But I will root for Georgetown over Syracuse, because I like the Big East legacy aspect of Georgetown. And I like the fact that that division has become increasingly relevant after people just counted it out to nothing, you know, with Villanova winning so much. Boom shakalaka. Final quarter, guys. I didn't think we were going to play a whole game, but we literally have one quarter left, so let's just play it. I think we've lost a couple people on the stream, which is fine. I think probably me playing mediocre NBA Jam is like, you know what? I'm gonna go see what Matlock is doing. Gonna dust off the old Columbo box set. Because if you're not watching this live stream, you should be watching Columbo. Because Columbo is amazing. Let's see if we can pull off a historic comeback here. It's not looking good. Big East is getting better. You are right, but I think some aspects of... yeah, dude, but the thing is like, a lot of the time, the Big East teams beat ACC teams. Like, I mean, ACC has got, like, Duke and North Carolina, and I mean, and the thing is they absorbed all of the other, you know, Big East teams before the Big East rebooted itself. So, you know, they have, like, Notre Dame and Boston College and all those other places. They have Syracuse. But then, you know, like, the holdout teams like St. John and Georgetown, it's like when you have, like, non-conference play, the Big East teams, you know, like, they hang with all the other ACC teams. So, and the thing is, it's like, the rivalries that Syracuse has in the ACC... I mean, like, it's fun to watch Syracuse and Duke play, but I don't really think Duke considers Syracuse anywhere nearly as much of a rival as Georgetown. Like, the Georgetown-Syracuse games, like, even though they're, like, non-conference now, those are, I don't know, those are, I think, more exciting to watch than the Syracuse-Duke games. I mean, you might think I'm an idiot, but, I mean, I like watching Georgetown and Syracuse play more than Duke and Syracuse. But, I mean, it's always nice to see Syracuse find a way to beat Duke every once in a while, so. Down by 20. This takes me back to my days playing CCA soccer. You know what's so weird about, like, Georgetown, though? It's like, they're always, like, really, really good at the start of the season, and then, I don't know, they just always end up being mediocre. Freaking Villanova, they lost all their seniors. Which happens, you know. We're playing basketball. Shoot the J. Shoot it. Hughes' rivals are more of Georgetown Nova type. Duke isn't a real rival despite everyone thinking. Yes, that's the truth. You know, it's got to be, like, both sides have to consider it a rivalry for it to actually be a rivalry, you know? Oh, we suck. Wow, we really need Jordan to come out of retirement. This is bad, man. All right, let's see if we can actually get some redemption here. All right. It's like the Buffalo Bills. They think they're the New England Patriots rivals, and it's like the Patriots like don't even acknowledge their existence.
Running out of time.
All right. Well, that was pathetic. But it was fun nonetheless. So that's NBA Jam, the tournament edition. Thank you for those who stuck with me struggling to play a basketball game. All right. Ooh, Ninku. But you know what would be really fun? If we played Pepsi Man. So for those of you who don't know, Pepsi Man was the mascot for Pepsi in Japan. And he's like this kind of giant, badass, humanoid... He's kind of like a Pepsi can. He's kind of like Ultraman. He's Pepsi Man. And his commercials are great. He basically just runs around, in the midst of people wanting Pepsi. And he always ends up getting people to drink Pepsi. And then he always ends up like running into something or falling off a building or something like that. It's good stuff. So without further ado, it's Pepsi Man. I've never played this game. Pepsi Man is a hidden character in Fighting Vipers, and I'm actually expecting a package from Japan that is bundled with Sega Saturn fighting games like Virtua Fighter 2, the Virtua Fighter music visual CDs. At least I think it's got the Akira one in there. The Japanese Fighting Vipers. I wonder if this has Pepsi Man commercials in it. Pepsi Man. This is making me want Pepsi right now. I don't know why this game is showing up blue on my screen, but there isn't that blue tint here. Yeah, I know, right? That's the power of advertising. Pepsi Man! Pepsi Man and Segata Sanshiro, they're just like the coolest advertising mascots. Okay, there's no real options here.
Hey, let's start the game.
Man, I have got to get over to Japan and get a gig like that. I want to be like the random Western guy in some Japanese video game.
Pepsi Man, you got here just at the perfect time. I got a call that a vending machine ahead ran out of Pepsi, and I was just on my way there, but I got a flat tire. There are a bunch of people gathered in front of the vending machine. They want Pepsi, and the word is that they're just about to riot. I plan to head over there as soon as I can fix this flat. But it looks like it's gonna take some time. Can't you do something, Pepsi Man?
All right. Pepsi Man is, what do I do here? So it looks like I gotta dodge obstacles here. I can jump, that's good. Okay, because in the commercials, he's always, like, running. So it looks like I just have to run, follow the trail of Pepsi cans before the timer runs out. There was no getting around that truck. Checkpoint. I'm going to invade someone's home here. I'm going to pause this way. They've got something like that in China where foreigners can come in to do random jobs. Yeah, Tony, Pepsi Man. Dude, then I got to get over to China. Like, in fact, on the topic of this, we're going to play Biohazard after this. Tony, so this is the fun. Can I get a Pepsi, this freaking garbage can off my head here? Okay. So I died there, apparently. Where's my life bar there? I don't even know where my life bar is. This is the first time I've ever played Pepsi Man. I guess you can't not have that garbage can on your head. So it looks like there's... I wonder if I can, like, compensate. Yes. So you have to move in the opposite direction of things. Yes, alright, good. We're almost to our goal, though. We should make it. We've got time. This is actually pretty fun. It's a clever concept based on the commercials. Oh man. Get up, Pepsi Man. Sorry, sold out of Pepsi. Oh, no! Pepsi Man. I used to watch Pepsi Man commercials all the time. Especially, when I would be in, like, studio art class. I'd, like, just have Pepsi and say got a Sanshiro commercial. Darn it, come on! I made it! Dude, that cutscene is amazing. Thank you. I know. So it looks like these levels are essentially based on the commercials. And they just kind of like work a scenario around the commercials that you play through. I don't even know how I'm supposed to get around that truck there. This game is pretty addicting. Ah, come on. Can I do like a double jump or something to get around that? Guess not. Ah, there's a little beam I had to walk on. It's like an early version of a mobile game, yeah. But better, because it's got Pepsi Man. Okay. Whoa, darn it. It's our last life here. I could see myself sinking a decent amount of time into this game here. Ah, damn it. Okay, last life here. Okay. I thought that one was the last. You never know if you got 1 life left or 0 lives left. Can I slide under things? I just don't know how to get around that Pepsi truck. Alright, we got through that. That's good. Checkpoint. Oh, another house. Oh man, not another shed. Oh good, I got a skateboard here. No, alright, now I get some airtime here. Ah! And that, who needs Grand Theft Auto when you have Pepsi, man? Agreed. That was very fun. That crushed Pepsi can is how they would always end the Pepsi commercials for Pepsi Man. I am super tempted. Let's check out this Ranma half fighter right here. I have never played this game. I've heard of it. I've seen pictures of it. I've seen video of it. I've never played it myself. So it's Ranma half. I think it's called Battle Renaissance. Let's do 1 round. Oh, the weather. I bet you can, like, switch the weather so it rains and messes with people's forms. Because in Ranma, you know, depending on what water you get on you, you change into either a girl or a panda or whatever, you know, whatever cursed spring you fell to. Yeah, sure, load the story mode. Of course, there is no story mode because I haven't ever played this before. Yeah, okay. Whoop. Yes, Diego, we are both very excited to play Ranma half. This came out in '96, so Ranma would have probably just been wrapping up. Nice CG here. This really is the PlayStation strength, is this kind of thing right here. I mean, I really like PlayStation games like this because this is really like the, you know, the next gen Super Famicom style games. You know, lots of Ranma Super Famicom games. Now you're getting a Ranma game kind of in the same spirit, but kind of flexing that that 3D graphical style that the PlayStation is really known for. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do some straight up more in-depth reviews of a lot of the games on this PlayStation. We're going to be Ranma. Because, you know, come on. It's Ranma's game. We're gonna fight a Kane here.
私の他にも秘宝を探している人がいるとは思いませんでした。
I actually have some Ranma half manga. I thoroughly enjoy the art style.
このお嬢さんは預からせていただきます。どうです。あ、反則な響き。
何をどうおっしゃったらそうなるんだ。
You know what's really funny? Okay, we might not live in Japan to see their unreleased games, but we have Noel, the greatest YouTuber that can bring these games and share it with us. Diego, you're going to make me start crying on the air. More so than when we watched that Godfrey Ho Ninja movie. That was the most beautiful thing ever. So, are we like choosing a path here? What is happening here? I guess that was just to show where we were on the map. I'm trying to move this camera a little bit here. Really pretty graphics here. Looks great on this monitor. Kind of a clunky Virtua Fighter style. Not bad though at all by any means. Actually, this plays much more smoothly than Final Bout, and I really like Final Bout. Does a nice job of transferring the manga anime style to 3D polygons. Does make me want to read some manga. Got the Ranma manga right here. Ta-da! Uh-huh. Here's where my lack of being able to read Japanese is proving to be a bit of a problem here. Okay, Ryoga. Here we go. This reminds me a lot of Ultimate Battle 22, but with, you know, Ranma and these weird map branching paths. Yeah, this is I gotta say, this is a pretty fun fighting game to play. Oh, he transformed because of the rain. I'm just trying to adjust this camera a little bit here. It's a little too high. That's just right. Looks like we've got another cutscene here. We'll do one more fight, and then we'll see what else we got here. So we're gonna fight Genma. Ranma's dad. So normally I'm not a fan of skipping the cutscenes, but for the sake of brevity, we'll. Now the cool thing about this mini as well is that the PlayStation emulation. They did nothing really substantive with helping the graphics to transfer to HD. In fact, the games look worse on the Mini normally than on the regular PlayStation. But they have all kinds of graphical maximizers on this Mini to really help the PlayStation games look great and look their best. And honestly, it looks like I'm playing this on a PVM. So this is good stuff. So Ranma, the fighting game, right there. Good. Rival Schools 2, Street Fighter, Time Gale. Yeah, let's play some Time Gale. So I've never actually played Time Gale. It's a full motion video anime Laserdisc game that was made by the fine people at Data East. Back in the mid-1980s, they'd have these awesome anime games that were done in the style of Dragon's Lair. And by the time the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation came along, you really had technology that could definitely maximize those style of graphics, that style of gameplay, and graphics. So these kinds of video games are very popular on the 3DO, which I actually really like this style of video games. People always kind of crap on them, but I think that's just because critics like to parrot each other. But really, really beautiful artwork on this game. Nice music. Hopefully, I'll start getting the hang of Road Avenger. If you have not seen the Sega CD intro today, you need to. I am a huge fan of Strawl for the Sega Saturn and for the 3DO. Alright, let's see how this goes here. '44 BC. Well, okay, I don't know what freaking button I'm supposed to be hitting there. I hit circle. Dude, I freaking hit the button. I'll say I just gotta hold it down. I got a feeling I'm gonna have to really spend some time with these QTE games. They really should tell you what button you're supposed to be pushing there. I'm holding the button down. Whatever. This game is pretty as hell, but that's gonna take some learning. So don't regret putting it on here by any means, though. Vampire Savior, the EX edition. Let's check that out. Darkstalkers the Night Warriors has Trouble Man by Akichi Izawa for the opening credits. So we'll have to play some of that as well. Noel playing a fighting game? No. Checking memory card. No data. I do have a data action figure in the other room. I always love the opening to this game. Pretty opening. We actually played, this is Darkstalkers 3, so we actually played this on a previous live stream, but this will be the Japanese version, which is always just cooler because it's the Japanese version. My son is really into Pyron now. Could be Lilith. Could be Donovan. Bishamon. Yeah, this game plays smooth as silk. I've said this before, but I always like that lone wolf and cub style of Donovan and Anita. Kind of reminds me of Kenshiro with Lynn and Bart. The graphical shift from this game to the original Darkstalkers is interesting. This one opting a lot more for that Street Fighter 03 style, whereas the original Vampire the Night Warriors looked quite a bit more like X-Men Children of the Atom. But both are incredibly beautiful games. We also have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on here, which is very similar in its look to Darkstalkers, which makes sense, I mean, genre-wise. Got him, alright. Now, like Marvel superheroes, each character has their own different kind of jingle when they win, which is nice. Dimitri throwing one of his sexy parties in the background. Of course, it's nothing compared to one of Stewie's sexy parties. Come on, go down. I'm just kind of learning the ropes with Donovan. I'm not like button mashing, but I'm just trying different. I mean, I'm kind of button mashing, but I'm button mashing in a way now where I'm just randomly mashing buttons. I'm mashing buttons in a way where I'm trying different time-tested Street Fighter combinations here. Alright. Since we've played this already, and I love this game, I can play this game all night. But I think we'll do some checking out of Vampire the Night Warriors after I get a refill on some coffee. So, definitely, it's decaf, so I won't be up all night. I actually don't even know what time it is. I also kind of need to just stretch my legs, because I'm, you know, kind of like squatting down on a little bench while I'm playing these games, so I can glance back and forth between the camera and the phone. So, but hopefully you're all enjoying the live stream thus far. So, where's our coffee? Oh, right here. So I'm thinking we'll play at least a couple more games, and then we'll wrap up. We're at you know, the 2.5 hour mark. Although I'm much more awake now. Then, get yourself a more comfortable setup. I do. Well, like, sometimes I do, but, like, I'm playing on that one monitor. So, because I think it looks really good on that monitor. So, I'm kind of like hunched down. If I had that on, like, the big TV, you know, the 4K TV, like, it would still look good, but it wouldn't look like it's playing on a PVM like it does on that gateway monitor. So, you know, I'm kind of suffering for my craft, but it's a first world problem for sure. So, okay. We've got our coffee, we've got our Evolution shirt, and now we've got our phone. Alright, we'll play a little Night Warriors, and I was thinking there's at least another game I had to show you guys, and I'm sure I'll think of it while we're, you know, in the midst of stuff. Normally, we're swapping through SCART cables and game consoles, but this is such a powerful. It's such a powerful mini console here with such a strong lineup of games. All right, I'll play some Night Warriors here. If you guys have any suggestions for any games that you've seen on here, feel free to shout them out. Oh, yeah, Trouble Man. I love this song. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is what I was thinking I had to show you guys. This is a great, great opening here. Actually goes great with the Darkstalkers commercial. It's got a girl doing a live action Morgan. Yeah, it looks really cool. I actually have that commercial saved. If you can't find that on YouTube, I should upload it. Sexy rock, paper, scissors. Well, it is the time when all those sexy commercials would normally come on if you were a child growing up in the 90s, so. Felicia. Alabath. Or Owlbath. I spent too much time figuring out who I wanted to be. It's gonna be Morgan, but whatever. I'll be Isabel. He's like Axl Rose if he was a zombie. Again, another game that plays smooth as silk. A lot of what I enjoyed with the PS1 were RPGs, and I imagine those would not be the best to play at your end. They take up quite a bit of time. I love RPGs, man. Like, I absolutely love RPGs. Now that the summer is coming up, I definitely want to at least knock out 1 or 2 RPGs over the summer. But it's crazy because, you know, I'm on the move so much, and I'm just thinking, like, oh, I'll pick up and play a game. I'll relax. I'll put something on TV while I play a game or something like that. And to me, like, an RPG is something like reading a book where I get, like, so into it, you know. It's I kind of have to kind of get myself in the mindset. It's like watching a movie almost. But I want to fix that. I want to, like, I've got so many RPGs that I still should go through. You know, immediately Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then I really do want to get that 16-bit version of Dragon Quest XI. I've got Final Fantasy 15 I gotta go through. I just have lots of RPGs, and I just ordered another RPG. I ordered Battle Golfer Yui for the Sega Mega Drive. So that should be coming in the mail tomorrow, because I saw on the tracking it was in Rochester. So. And then I got other games like Samurai Pizza Cats that I gotta finish beating, but that's got a password. You really have to get yourself immersed in the setting with that genre. Yeah, I know, yeah, absolutely. And it's like, and the thing is too, it's like I'm always a sucker for them too. It's like, oh, cool anime cover, I'm getting this. You know, it's like, oh, the game is 50 hours. Really crazy dynamic poses for the victory here. Well, that worked out well. Darkstalkers had a lot of that weird, yeah, that kind of gliding, kind of drill attack there. I had read that you know, had Universal and Capcom actually worked out an agreement that these would have been the actual licensed official Universal horror movie monsters, but I guess they couldn't come to an agreement. My son was calling me Victor today, in direct reference to the Darkstalkers character. Vampire the Night Warriors. Definitely recommend looking up the Darkstalkers lore videos you can find on YouTube. Very, very interesting video game history stuff. Good stuff. Be interesting to see if Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate comes tomorrow. Because then I think I'm going to be obliged to do another live stream. But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to come tomorrow or not. And I mean, you know, it's like you always hold veto power too, so. Gallon. Known as John Talbane in the U.S. He's like Bruce Lee if he was a wolf. Which is an amazingly cool concept. Saying I got my special, I'm trying to like do a super move here. Of course, I don't know how to actually do a super move. You know, with Capcom games, they either like go with hitting 2 buttons in a Hadouken or like double Hadouken. So I was going for the 2 buttons in a Hadouken there. Come on. Oof. This isn't looking good. Ah, I was getting there, but too low. Okay, so that's Vampire the Night Warriors, an amazingly cool game. Oh, we really should revisit you. No, I'm just kidding. Advanced Variable Geo, where I think we're going to save that for Sailor Moon. Or we all... Dakota, okay. Alright, so here's the deal. Rogue Drums, if you're still here. Alright, we don't have Dead or Alive Ultimate 2. But we do have the Sony PlayStation version of Dead or Alive. So we'll play that. This might be our wrap-up game, because it's it's getting around 3 hours. So it'll be interesting to play this after playing the Saturn version, because the Saturn version is a really, really good arcade conversion of the Dead or Alive arcade game. But everything that I've seen, it looks like the PlayStation version is just kind of its own game. So here's Hulk Hogan right here. And Dennis Rodman. Okay. Wallpaper. Let's see what random. Will be Hulk Hogan with the goatee. Yeah, it looks like there's no music on this game. I wonder if I accidentally turned it off. Or if there could be just something wrong with the ROM as well. That looks good. Bouncing breast on. Absolutely. What the difference between survival and Kumite is. Anyway, tournament. Let's try that again. Yeah, something's off here, so I'm thinking this game is going to play just fine, but the audio is not going to be working. So we'll have to let Jim know if he's watching or not anymore. I don't know, but looks very nice. Totally different look than the Saturn one, though. This really kind of maximizes that PlayStation, again, graphical style. More kind of just smooth, crisp shadows and lights. Okay. Okay, it's not helping that this version doesn't have music. Very, very pretty to look at. I'm thinking I like the Saturn version a little better. Well, if this isn't going to have music, we'll have to play something else. Ooh, Twin Bee Yahoo, that's tempting. Play some Dracula X next time. Guilty Gear, good game. Gundam the Battle Master, Idol Promotion, Yumi Suzuki. We will play some of that. Let's try that right now. So, I really hope this plays. This is basically just like a kind of a J-pop fan disc. Nice music here. Hopefully we don't get in trouble for playing this music, but I think it's well worth sharing. And I have seen this opening up on YouTube. Good song to jam out to here. Man, I always want to make a YouTube video just about the opening to this game. Now, originally, Jim was like, hey, this is only on the Saturn. I was like, no, man. Let's try looking a little harder here. Not that I'm, like, barking out orders, but it's like, before I made this list, I, like, legit kind of mined various PlayStation titles that I thought looked good. Including this Yumi Suzuki Idol disc here. All right, 1996. Wait, what the hell? I don't understand. What am I doing here? Like, normally these games were made for, like, nerdy Japanese guys to escape their inability to, you know, poorly talk to women. But here, even in the game, it looks like you get shut down. Oh, no, that worked. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing here. Man, I can learn how to read Japanese. I think I was out of money here. Okay, can I... There we go. Alright. How do we get out of this here? Man, I'm gonna have to look at a guide for this game here. Alright, well, we'll play a little JoJo. I'll experiment more with this game. Not on the stream, because you guys probably don't want to see me trial and error. That initial D game looks very good. Lunar 2, Eternal Blue. We did never... Okay, since we've already played JoJo on the Dreamcast, I actually am really curious to check out the Japanese version of Mortal Kombat 2. Hopefully it's easier than the arcade version, which is horribly difficult. Now it's got that signature arcade opening here. I like Mortal Kombat 2 quite a bit, but it's the time when the game, while very good, was moving aesthetically farther away from the first Mortal Kombat, which is really one of my favorite looks for a fighting game. I'm gonna tell some people to get over here. Nice big sprites. Smooth gameplay. Oh, it's liking all that crazy input reading BS of the actual arcade version of this game. Unless it's just lulling me into a false sense of security. I never liked how in these sequel Mortal Kombat games, they never left the fatalities the same for the characters. Like, I get like adding fatalities, but making it so that their old moves are not accessible for the common man is a little annoying. Alright, this will likely be my last match for the night. It's getting a little late. 3 hours. Oof. Get over here. Again, gameplay here is really nice and responsive. In Mortal Kombat, I always had that jerky gameplay style. Which, you know, I mean, dominate. People want to say Mortal Kombat was like successful because of the violence. The violence is just what got it press. What really got people into Mortal Kombat was the big human-looking characters. Ah, darn it. Ow. My zombie head. Terrible. Terrible what she did to me. So guys, there we have it. I think we'll wrap up the stream. But this has been super fun, at least for me. We are approaching the 3-hour mark, and it's probably getting close to 1 o'clock in the morning, so we should probably wrap it up. Yes, looks like 12:59. So yeah, guys, it's been fun. Thanks for sticking with the stream. I always want to try to do these a little earlier, but you know, with my 3-year-old, and you know, by the time everything gets settled down, it just always ends up being like around 10 o'clock. So, but thanks for stopping by. Thanks for sharing my interest. Thanks for letting me get to show off and share this really cool accessory slash new version for my PlayStation Mini. Thanks to our new subscriber and friend, Jim, once again from Retro Zoltan Speaks on Etsy. So check it out. And thanks to me, he now has the strip John Ken in his database. So make sure you ask for that. Good night, Noel. Thank you so much for a kick-ass live stream. Thank you, Diego. You are always a good friend and a knowledgeable person who I love having on the live stream. Everyone else as well, Arrow, you're awesome as well. And anyone else out there listening, it's always a real pleasure to have you guys on here to get to chat with. I'll definitely do another live stream in the very near future. I think pretty much because of Rogue Drums, I'm contractually obligated to do a live stream the second Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate comes, so just be on the lookout for the channel. Saturday or Sunday, I'm thinking. But if it comes tomorrow, who knows? But we'll see. So it should be fun. We'll definitely review some of these games in depth. And we will also do some other reviews on the channel. I know I keep saying that, but they will come. So cool. All right, guys. Thanks again. Thanks for all your friendship and support and commentary. And I will see you in the very near future on the Noel ComiX YouTube channel. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. And I will see you around. Night. Goodbye.